This is the Liberty Tea Party Patriots. Who's new here tonight? Well, we hope that you like what you see in here. You meet new friends. We hope you come back. We meet the first Thursday of every month except July. And we're going to review very quickly for the rest of us. Here's why we do what we do. Liberty Tea Party Patriots is the first and longest running Tea Party group in the state of Minnesota. This group formed in March of 2009. It was the first of 59 groups all throughout the state of Minnesota by 2011. We're here to educate, to motivate, and activate as part of the current Tea Party movement that stands against an out-of-control federal government of unconstitutional spending and taxation. We're an affiliate of the National Tea Party Patriots organization, and it is a trademark name. The national organization defined who we are and what we can do to reclaim our country that our founders envisioned. Tea Party Patriots defined the three core values that we all recognize. The first one, it's our guide. It's for who and what to vote for, and it's a guide for our policymakers at all levels to secure liberty-based policy. The first is limited constitutional government, so we have personal freedom. The second is free market economics, so we have economic freedom and prosperity. And three is financial responsibility. Did it go out? Financial responsibility, so we have a debt-free future. Grab a brochure on the way out. Please share it with your family and friends. It's much easier to get our message out there this way than it is to sometimes engage in conversations, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. Just be quiet, hand them a brochure. How's that? The people at our monthly meeting here who help us, we give a big thanks to Jason Tullett. He's the owner of the tavern. He was here earlier. He's very impressed that everybody came out here tonight. Jeremy and Alex, the banquet managers, they help us so much. Server Sean. We have Jackie Heinen greeting you at the table. She does a great job. Travis Ekbom, we love this flag. He brings it every month. We have Diana Halsey and Robert Marvin. As you know, they do a lot of the videography. So if you want to know where it's being posted, just ask them, okay? Thanks for supporting this local business. Your food and beverage orders in this banquet room are needed in order to keep the room for future meetings. Before we go on any further, I'm going to introduce to you some of the candidates that have decided to come by and visit us tonight. I'm going to start out with our Speaker of the House, Lisa Demuth, running for Minnesota Governor.
Well, good evening, everybody. It is my honor to join you this evening. I serve as Speaker of the House in the state of Minnesota, and let me tell you, to see a crowd like this here, knowing that you are committed and invested in what needs to happen for Minnesota is what matters. So thank you. Please give yourselves a hand for coming out on a great Thursday night. What we have been able to do with just a tie in the House of Representatives, so envision this with me, we are 1/2 of 1/3 state government. I had the honor, you'll love this, I had the honor of sitting across from Governor Walz. Well, we negotiated. Well, we were negotiating to finish up this session. When you look at what was able to be accomplished by House Republicans with just 1/2 of 1/3, we are absolutely focused on in the House taking the full majority in 2026 because we know that we can do better, and it takes people such as you invested in all of the candidates moving forward to help turn our state and gain back what we have lost and make it even better and stronger than we have ever seen it. Mary, thank you for letting me have a moment or two. I apologize, I need to keep moving through. I've got a couple more things tonight. My honor to be with you this evening. Thank you very much.
I want to do a quick call out. We have State Representative Paul Novotny right there. Paul, wave to the fine folks. We also, at the Elk River area, we also have State Senator Mark Horan. Mark, where are you? He's here. That's fun. People drop in. We also have the state party, MNGOP Deputy Chair Donna Bergstrom. Would you come on up here? Or do you want to say anything? You want to say a couple things?
It's going to take a while to get through. We went to high school.
And then we'll get Frank Long on the dock here too. Wasn't that chili good? The cornbread, I loved it with the potato. All right, here's Donna.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This is truly amazing, and it's so inspiring to see so many good Patriots coming out to celebrate tonight, all that we have on our agenda. Congratulations to Mary Amlaw for continuously running this organization. It's not easy to do, and for filling up a venue like that. I just want to say thank you from the party perspective. We just had 2 special elections. Senate District 47, Senate District 29, and I know so many of you helped in those races, door knocked, phone called, just did many things, so thank you for that. Just want to put it on your radar. Make sure you have February 3rd on your calendar for the caucuses. Make sure you plan to come to caucus, and make sure you bring a friend with you. So thank you for all you do. Thanks for coming tonight, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, Donna. Thanks for being here. Frank Long, who's going to be speaking on behalf of Adam Schwarze for United States Senate.
Hi, folks. Yeah, Adam expected to be here tonight. He had a conflict, so you're stuck with me. You will be seeing him. He is the hardest working candidate that I've ever worked with. I've done a lot of statewide campaigns, and this organization, this machine, they're really doing a great job. They had asked me to join, and I thought maybe it's a little early back in like June, July. I went and worked with them at their booth at the state fair, and the interaction with the people, the energy, the team, just the authenticity and the way they work with people really impressed me. So I said, you know, I want to be part of that. And I've worked on quite a few statewide campaigns. This one's very organized. We've raised $570,000, most of it in the last quarter, from 3,500 individual donors. Now this is while building name recognition. This is a great candidate. Nobody's going to outwork this guy. This team, this campaign team, is a great group. So keep an eye out. If you've got any questions, you can ask myself. Logan Peterson. Logan, where are you at? Right there. Logan, he's a #1 staffer. This guy, if he doesn't get the answer, he will get it for you right away. They made me the Commodore. That has nothing to do with Lionel Richie. I reached out. I'm pretty smart, so I reached out and got Mary to be my co-Commodore. There's nobody that knows CD6 better or has more influence across this, so we're hitting the ground running, we're doing the work, and we're going to kick ass, and we're going to win this thing. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. And you'll recognize this gentleman from a couple of years ago when he was running for a state house position, John Nagle. John Nagle, come on up. You're running for CD5. CD5. That would be you, Patty. Patty, are you 5 or 3? Yeah, but Patty, what are you, 3 or 5?
She's at 5.
I'm at 5. He's CD5. He's running. Yeah, he's running.
Okay, we've established the fact that I am running in CD5, okay? I've only got a couple of seconds because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. I am here to beat Ilhan Omar. We think we've got a great opportunity to beat her this year. We saw that in yesterday's election. If that one block of people voting would have all voted for Omar Fateh, he would have won. They didn't. She doesn't get very much money from Minneapolis or Minnesota anymore. It's coming from outside, like George Soros. And here's the other thing, too. I've been to these meetings before. I've talked to some of you before. This is a huge group. And they're right. You're all going to show up. So all I'm asking is that I'm going to run against her. And yes, it is a little bit like David and Goliath, but you know what? Who else is going to run against her? Right? Yep. So this is how it starts. I need your prayers. I need your support. And yeah, and at the end of the day, if you got 2 nickels left over, I'll take them. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. And just someone who walked in the room, our state senator Jim Abeler here in Senate District 35. Props.
Yeah, props to all of you for being here. So, I don't know, do you ever get frustrated? That's why you're here, right? My goodness, what's going on in the world? Did you know there was an election a couple days ago?
Yeah. I voted.
Did you know we lost a few races somewhere around there? Do you know who Ken Martin is? So anyway, I'm Jim Abeler from here. Next year I'll be wearing this all over town. Just you see me on my bike, wave and give me a sandwich or something. But so Ken Martin, have you heard of him? He's the National Democrat. What's that? No, I'm good. I'm just doing my prop. It's all part of the prop. So Ken Martin was bragging like they were so smart and they really won. But you know why they won? Because Republicans didn't vote.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Do you know we had a school board race here? I'm just really just sad. There was an amazing woman named Tiffany Strabla.
Oh. Yes.
And I'm not going to ask you if you lived in her district and didn't vote, because I might come and choke you. And so we are going to lose unless everybody who thinks like you votes. Now there's a choice you can make. So this is a rope. Let's pretend you're having, there's a lot of rope here. Let's pretend you're having a tug of war. And you know the people on the other side are pretty strong. And then there's some people are going to come help. But not everybody. Some people are home. Any Viking fans here? You know, here it is watching the Vikings. And so some people would rather watch the Vikings than save their country. And so you kind of got a choice. The choice you have is grab the rope and pull. 88 Republicans in Andover and Coon Rapids would have voted. It would have turned the school board over, and you would have gotten rid of a lot of stuff that you just don't find interesting. Some of the races across the country, if people would have woke up in various states and cities, it would be different. It isn't that the Democrats won. It's like we didn't. So I'm going to offer you a choice. So you can watch the Vikings and have a beer and put up your feet and watch your country crumble. Or you can grab a rope. And so in my particular race, it's a blue district. Harris won, Biden won, District 35. And I am the red wall. And we have to hold my seat so we can try to win one of the other ones that's vulnerable. And this has nothing to do with me tonight. I'm just here reminding you of that. But if you think it happens by yourself, it doesn't. It happens by people pulling the rope. People like Tiffany, who give up a whole year of knocking on doors. And people like Josh Jungling, are you in here? He's got a heck of a job against him. But he can win if enough people at least vote. Don't help him, don't give any money. At least make sure your friends get out and vote. I mean, how basic is that? But do help him, help me. And this is the greatest country the world has ever seen, if we can keep it. And so, I don't know, by a round of applause, who says they want to help hang on to the rope? Thank you.
Thank you. So Tiffany Strabla lost by 88. And then we have Lorraine Cohen here, who also ran a great race in Area 4. Lorraine, are you here? Yes. Lorraine, come on up. Where is she? You want to come up, Lorraine? Matt Audette did we?
So these people are heroes. I just didn't mention Lorraine because it was a little further apart, but like, she worked really hard too. Do you know how amazing of a person she is? You know, the kind of time she gave up from her family to run a race that we knew would be difficult. So I'm gonna quit talking. The people that are willing to run for anything that are true to the principles you believe in, none of them are gonna win by themselves. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jim, for being here. Lorraine, thank you. Thank you for what you did.
Lorraine Cohen. Yeah, unfortunately it came up short, but you know what? We got people out to vote. And there was, most of the time at the school board elections when they're off years, you don't get that many. In fact, they were, people that were at the polls, the judges said that it was a steady stream of people. So I'm believing that we woke people up. Well, that's a first. I really believe that we woke some people up, and that we'll continue that. We just have to keep telling people that vote matters. I know sometimes people think, well, what's the point of voting? It matters, and it will. We just get everybody out and just vote. I think we can do it, and lots of people are telling me if we just had more people out to vote, there was a better chance that I would have won. But we did get mad in, and so really nothing's changed on the board. We still are at 3-3. But I would say what Abeler said, let's get out and vote. And then people say, well, everybody here votes. Well, then tell people. You know what the other thing is? Give them a ride. I got a call from somebody. She took 6 people to the polls. So whatever it takes. I had other people that called and said, I sent out 100 messages today to tell people to get out and vote. So we just do whatever it takes to get people out to vote. And we will win. I believe we will. And I really think that if I just continue, because everywhere I go, people know my name because I was up on a billboard. So just keep talking to people about who's running and pass it on. And we'll get this done. We will. I really believe that.
Oh, you wouldn't believe all the doors that have to be knocked.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. Big district. We are in Senate District 35 over here, CD3. 2 of your House reps that ran last time, 35A, was Josh Jungling. He's actually here this evening. He's got a kickoff in the room just across the hallway, and he will be stopping in later tonight. But we also have Steve Pape. Come on up, Steve. Steve, you ran a great race in 35B. And these gentlemen are going to be running again. So, Steve, tell us real quick how we can find out more info on you.
Thank you very much. Boy, I tell you, Senator Abeler really kind of woke me up there with that rope. and it was very personal to me because I lost by 1% last year. 11,280 to 11,560. But what I found out was there were 4,000 people who could have and would have voted conservative but didn't show up. Oh. So I needed 280 and we had 4,000 people sit it out. That's why I went off, and actually I really owe Mary a great debt of thanks. I came over after the election was over and I was so depressed. I said, Mary, I don't know what to do. They want me to run again and I think it's suicide. And we had a good conversation and I said, what did Trump do? And she said, here's how Trump did it. And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? That would work. That'll work right here. So I went off and got a relational organizing consultant, hired a data manager, and I got it going. So I've been working quietly in the background. Tonight I'm announcing, I think I got the plan, I got the strategy. We're going to take this one.
Yay.
Oh, and one last thing. There's a table in the back. All the way back there. See Teresa waving her hand back there. If you want to stop by and help me out a little bit, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you know, I'm chair of Senate District 32, and that southern part of Blaine is 32B. And we really want to work in sync with you too, Steve, because we've got a lot of the same demographics. So we'll get our 2 candidates together and see what we can do. Senator Coran, did you want to say anything at all? Okay, you're good. All right. I am going to bring up, there's a state auditor race, as you know, and we have a couple people running for that right now. To bring up Ruth Bordley, who is the campaign manager for Nate George, and she's going to tell you a little bit about Nate and why he's running for state auditor.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, for having me here. Nate could not make it today, so I know that Nate is not a household name, but I'm hoping to make him a household name. He is currently the mayor of Bram, and he has turned that city around, and he's hoping to come into the state auditor's office and do the same for us by bringing transparency and accountability for the federal funds and the taxpayer monies. I have placed his papers on your table so you can take a look at it. We do have our website up and running. He has his social media out there. If you'd like to follow us, please take a moment to take a look at it. And we also have our QR code on there for you if you'd like to make a donation to help us out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your evening. Thank you, Mary.
Nate is a retired veteran, is he not?
He's still active.
He's still active. What service is he in?
He is in the Army.
Army.
Yes, he is the Air Force Reserve Service for strategic planning.
All right, thank you. So thanks for being here, Ruth. That was kind of a last minute deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, next year all our candidates would do themselves a favor, and all of us, if they would pay attention now to how this country is going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary next year. I'm going to have Travis Ekbom come on up here. He's going to tell you just a little briefly. We've touched on it before. But America 250 was the committee commissioned by Congress in 2016 to help states and DC celebrate. They adopted a rather progressive CRT-based guideline that has gone out to 20,000 educators. And Travis was smart enough and sharp enough and brave enough to write an article and get it submitted in the Federalist. Molly Hemingway and you are good friends now, huh? And no, I'm just teasing him. But he started a little movement here that we want you to know about because we need your support.
I am Travis Ekbom. I am the president of MNUSA 250, and Mary gave you an excellent little overview there of the situation. About 10 years ago, Congress established America 250. That is the national organization planning events for the semi-quincentennial. That's the big fancy word for 250th anniversary. A small nonprofit in Tennessee called the American Association for State and Local History developed what they call a field guide for the semi-quincentennial that recommends guidelines for all of the programming to be rooted in. And those guidelines include asking questions like, who is omitted from the democratic process where you live? Or how has America failed to live up to its revolutionary promise? They're all questions designed to deconstruct and dismantle the American identity. So about a year ago, as I became aware of this, I started an organization called MNUSA 250. And what we realized is that schools are basically the factories of culture, or a factory of culture. What gets produced in the schools gets reproduced in society. Now, impacting curriculum is difficult. You have to go through school boards, it's a lengthy process, it's expensive, but teachers have wide latitude with day-to-day operations and can pretty much do anything they want in terms of supplemental materials. Think of it this way. School curriculum and the school board set the textbook, but whether the teacher decides to show an episode of Magic School Bus, that would be supplemental. So what we are doing is preparing a library of supplemental materials that tie every area of study into the American Revolution. Not just history, not just civics, but really inculcating that American civic identity. Through science class, you might be looking at Benjamin Franklin's inventions. In math class, you might be calculating the angle of a revolutionary cannon. I don't know, I'm not a teacher. I'm going to leave it to the experts to develop the actual materials. By shipping those, producing those and shipping those directly to schools, we can effectively circumvent the bureaucratic process and make teachers' jobs easier so that they can immediately implement those kinds of materials, spangle them throughout the year, if you will. That's what we're trying to do. Now, in order to do that, we need to raise $35,000. For $35,000, we can get materials to every school in the state of Minnesota. So, if you are willing, if you are able, please go to mnusa250.org. Through that, you'll be able to find the donation portal so that you can support us, and please share it with any friends or family you have that would share our sympathies. Oh, and David Meiser and I was good enough to do an interview with me. I've done a couple of interviews on the Patriot Radio and with David there. David, what was the name of the Rumble channel?
Nation Under God, rumble.com/nationundergod.
Rumble.com/nationundergod. You can find it there.
Follow and share.
Yeah.
Everything there.
All right. Otherwise, we're trying to keep a fairly low profile so that we don't alert unfriendly elements in the education system. So I'll be around. Feel free to come up and talk to me. And yes, I'm the flag guy, if you're wondering if I'm the same Travis. So thank you very much.
Thank you. John Augustine, this will be our last deal here, but John Augustine, are you here? Come on up here. You want to do a call out for the John Adams Society? While you're working your way up, I just want to let you know that Chuck and Donna Thibodeau are fine. They have not been to the meeting here for the last few months. They lost another pet, and Chuck had a little bit of problems again, but she sends, good wishes to all of you. Just know that there isn't anything wrong. They're just not getting out at night as much. That was Donna, who always did Donna Unfiltered. I was hoping she'd get up here in the summertime months. Now that's going in the winter. I doubt that they'll be here, but I'll let them know you said hi.
Yeah.
I'll do that. All right.
Thanks, Mary. So this month, John M. Society, the Conservative Debating Society of Minnesota, we are debating resolved, one census, one redistricting. And we are doing that on Thursday night this month. With a conflict on Wednesday night. So it's Thursday night, November 20th. It's a week before Thanksgiving at Bergstrom in St. Paul. You can go to johnadamsociety.org as it gets closer to the debate for more details. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks. We just keep getting people walking in through that door. How fun is this? This is our Anoka County Commissioner. Come on out and say hi, John Heinrich.
Thanks, Mary. Hello, everybody. What a great group of people. Yeah. Probably the best in the world, right? The best looking people. Not the best impression, but figured I'd give it a shot. John Heinrich, Anoka County Commissioner. District 1, I represent the cities of Anoka, Ramsey, Nowthen, and St. Francis. So I'm up the west side. There's 7 of us commissioners. We meet up every week, a couple days a week there at the government center here in downtown Anoka. How many people live in Anoka? Or you probably all over, not even many. Yeah, you guys are from all over the place. All right. Fantastic. Can I see some familiar faces out there? Well, I'll give you just a little quick update. I walked in to support Josh Jungling here tonight. He's in the adjacent room. I'm sure some of you maybe stopped in there, but he's running against the DFL leader in the House right now, Zach Stevenson. And Zach needs to be taken out. And I don't know if you've heard Josh Jungling talk, or if you've had him stop by your house if you live in District 35A, which is Anoka and western Coon Rapids area. But he's a fantastic candidate. And we really need to get him elected here this time around. So wanted to encourage you, if you get a chance here tonight, if you haven't used a political contribution refund program yet, you can give $75 and the state sends you back your $75. Josh Jungling's in the other room over there. I think he might be stopping in here to talk too, but just wanted to give him one plug there. That's money well spent. In fact, you're not even actually spending it because you get your money back. So after you do that, I'd ask you to find a candidate and actually donate to a candidate also. We really need that. But Josh is a fantastic candidate. We need to take out Zach Stevenson. Also, I don't know if he's talked to, actually I see him in the back there, Steve Pape. Another fantastic candidate in 35B. We need to win that seat. We're on the front lines here in Anoka and Coon Rapids for the direction of our state in the House and the Senate. And we really could use all your help. I know that you guys are from all over the place, some not from Anoka County even, but I appreciate you being here tonight, being a part of the team. One little update for Anoka County. We did pass recently a max of a 9.9% levy increase for the county, so hopefully we can still get it lower than that. This is coming off the heels of last year of a 17% increase. And that was an easy no vote for just, unfortunately, myself and a couple other commissioners, but that passed because we just didn't have the votes. We are moving forward with a new jail in downtown Anoka here at some point. The Department of Corrections, state of Minnesota, has told Anoka County that it's time to upgrade the facility and start to build for that we can fit people in there till that 2060 time frame, 2070 time frame, and upgrade the facilities to deal with. That jail was built in Anoka County in 1983, and those facilities need to be upgraded. Obviously, a lot of things have changed between now and 1983. So that's another thing that the commissioners are up to. But we have a safe city, we have a safe county, and we'd like to keep it that way. And that's what I'm trying to do my best to do, and I know that I got your guys' support, and We have a good sheriff here in Anoka County. I think he's doing a great job. So, Mary, can I take a couple questions real quick? I see you had a gentleman here. Yes, sir.
Is Anoka County a sanctuary county?
Is Anoka County a sanctuary county? That's a good question. No, we are not a sanctuary county. So just a little background. I don't want to take up your whole show here, Mary, but just a little background real quick on the sanctuary stuff. It used to be, as you guys well know, that this was an opt-in thing. Different cities and counties we've seen over the years kind of do this opt-in where they declare themselves a sanctuary. Now really that had no teeth in the first place because ICE can come in and do what they need to do. ICE has the ability to do that. And so it's really been more of a facade. And we know that the Minnesota DFL and the Democrats throughout the country really like facades and fake suits. That's what this kind of was in the get-go. Now, the word started getting out there that we were sanctuary somehow because our sheriff's office, by law, when a judge puts somebody in jail for, say they're in our county jail for, the average stay is actually only 8 days in our county jails, the average stay. But say we had somebody that was undocumented, the judge puts them in, and they have 8 days. ICE can come and get them when they're done with their jail term or during it. What we can't do as an Anoka County Sheriff's Office is once the judge releases them after their 8 days, we can't hold them. That would be unconstitutional to hold that person. So ICE gets access to our jail roster and they can come pick them up the second they walk out the door, or they can come get them early if a judge wants it. And that's what we need to do. We want to keep track and have ICE be able to do their job. We're supportive of ICE. Our Sheriff's Office is supportive of ICE. We get along with the local office that's here in Minnesota. We have no issues with them. They have no issues with us. So that was kind of, and there was other counties also put on this list that was just, unfortunately, an incorrect list beyond just our county. So what we had to do is actually create a resolution that stated that we were not, in fact, a sanctuary county and that we have a good relationship with ICE. We want them to do their job. We want to follow the Constitution. So thank you, guys.
Blessings. Have a good night.
Come see us again. Yeah, his former state rep, if you recall. Okay, well, I started everybody coming up here about 6:45 because there were so many that came here tonight, which is marvelous. And as you know, if you are a candidate or have an issue or something you want to promote, I will always make time. So just know that. I think that's only fair, and we're going to have a lot of candidates wanting to come speak. So I may be starting these meetings a little bit earlier. Just keep that in mind as we go forward. You want to make sure you're here by 6:15, 6:30, because depending on who shows up. Tonight, I mean, half of them just dropped in, so I make the accommodations. But isn't that great that they wanted to be here? Very, very good, yes. We're still waiting on Josh Jungling, but we're going to officially start our meeting. We always do with an invocation. And to lead us in prayer is Jeremy Westby for CD3.
Thank you very much. Would you please bow your heads in a moment of prayer? Eternal Father, loving God, creator of everything and author of grace everlasting, we invite your presence upon our gathering today. May we find during our time together a common good, a greater purpose, and many productive means to bring glory to you. May we be united in heart and mind as we lift our prayer into a realm we cannot see. We seek your guidance for the realm in which we live with its daily challenges to our moral trajectory as a nation, assaults upon what we know to be right, ridicule for our belief that life is every bit as precious in the elderly as in the unborn, and relentless threats chipping away at the Constitution, yet we hold it dear because we believe the Founding Fathers had wisdom, Lord, that came from you. We trust, Father, that your word is true when you said everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, where there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Therefore, let us hold our heads high and do your will gladly. As you have said in teaching us how to pray, your will be done on the earth as it is in heaven. Let it be our aim and our hope. You remind us to give thanks for our daily bread, and we ask your blessing upon the food we just received from your hand. Bless also the hands that prepared it. Bless our conversation with goodness, worthy of your hearing. Bless our bodies and strengthen us for the work you have prepared for us, each of us, to do. When we see mountains beyond our ability, Lord, help us remember your words spoken through your prophet Zechariah. Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty. You remind us that mighty mountains will become as level ground. You take the foundation and complete what you begin, aligned with your truth. You remind us not to despise the day of small beginnings, as you are the same God who can part any sea, still any storm, and multiply what little we can supply. We give thanks for all the callings upon our lives, and may we each welcome any task you give, doing it in your strength and with all gladness. You are good, Lord, and we thank you for remembering this nation and for preserving the freedom we have to seek you in life and in prayer. Bless us now, I pray, honoring your holy name. Amen. So that's Jeremy Westby, as in Westby, Wisconsin. Please forgive me. I'm a preacher's kid from Minnesota, born in Pipestone. My dad was a United Methodist minister, so I've lived all over this state. I'm glad to be back. I'm thankful to Mary and Donna for having me here today, and I intend to run for Congress, CD3.
In the United States, Veterans Day annually falls on November 11th. It's the anniversary of the signing of the armistice, which ended the World War I hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany in 1918. Veterans are thanked on this day for their services to the United States. We would like, if you're a family member of a veteran, or if you are a veteran, would you please stand? Please stand. And would you remain standing and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a quick reminder that the Child Protection League has a little part of the table over there. They have a conference coming up in April. Save the date. You can pick up the information at the table. We also have a rep there for Restore Minnesota. Many of you know Dale Witherington, so they've got a few little things there. Did I miss anything or anybody just yet before I introduce our very special speakers here this evening? I missed who?
Mo.
Oh, you just walked out. You never mentioned it.
He doesn't want to be recognized. So, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. But I want to introduce, first of all, our friend, Liz Collin. As you know, she's a senior reporter for Alpha News, producer of The Fall of Minnesota, and Minnesota versus We the People documentary film. She's the author of They're Lying, The Media of the Left, The Death of George Floyd. She's been giving a voice to truth, and we love her. She's been here a number of times. Liz, you're welcome here anytime. Come on and tell us what we're doing here tonight.
Mary knows every time she asks for me to be here, I never say no. So you guys have seen me 736 times in the last 3 years. But I'm thrilled tonight to have some very special guests. I'm going to be just speaking briefly, so you're welcome for that. But really some really special people here tonight that I can't wait for you guys to hear. I wish we would still be meeting here under better circumstances. You know, it's been... it's hard to even come up with words to describe, I guess, the last 5-6 years in Minnesota. I think you guys know that as well. And you guys are here tonight to fight, and we're so grateful for that, because that's what we all have to do, is stand up together. And on that note, I know we recognize the veterans here tonight, but also if they could stand up again, and also any members of law enforcement, whether current or retired, if you are here this evening, if you could also stand, and any first responders here tonight. I'd just really like to recognize all of our community heroes for their service, so please stand and be recognized. Honestly, thank you all so much. It's really the reason that I've been kind of keeping up this for the last few years. We have to do so much more to take care of the good guys. And I know my husband passes on his best. My work husband is with me tonight, so he took the night off. Actually had a previous engagement, otherwise he would be here as well, but he always sends his best. But I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Dr. J.C. Shea. We came together in some pretty strange circumstances. I always say that God really works in mysterious ways. Kind of just started with a phone call like, hey, I don't know anything about writing a book. Kind of through a friend of a friend who knew a guy, got on a Zoom call with this guy states away. And sadly, we've kind of become the same person ever since. He looks really strange in a blonde wig. But he's just an amazing human that I've been so blessed to get to know, and has done such incredible work. And I also want to remind you all, brought this up, that the Give, Send, Go account for Derek Chauvin, please get a bracelet and donate if you can to his fund. That is why we're here tonight, to get an update on his case. There are things happening. We're still in this fight for truth. And it happened to be that Dr. Shea was in town. We are working on another project for Alpha News that we'll have more to say soon. But this is the case that kind of brought us all together, and I just know we're not done with the fight yet. And on that note, I had a conversation with Tu Tao, who was released from prison on Monday. He's finally back home with his 3 children that he did not see for his entire sentence, and starting his life over again. And I know we'll be hearing more from him soon. But if you perhaps caught a story that we did a few months back now, Tu Tao said in that interview, he said, if Derek were not born white, that all of those police officers, all 4 of them, would still be out patrolling the streets of Minneapolis. And I think that's a pretty spot-on point that Tu made back during that interview, and I think of quite often. Just the power of these lies, and why it's so important to push back with truth, since it is on our side. So with that, I want to really, again, remind people why we are here by hearing first from Carolyn Palenti, who is Derek Chauvin's mother. So she is going to read a statement from Derek here tonight. But let's welcome her to the stage. Thank you.
Derek told me this morning, last night and this morning.
Can't hear you. Speak right into it.
My son, Derek Chauvin, called me last night and this morning, which he is allowed a 15-minute call once a week. I love hearing him say, "Hi, Ma." I am to convey his special thanks to his family for their visits filled with stories and laughter, especially the laughs from his Aunt Sim. Derek wants me to thank all of his police brothers who keep in contact with him. He heard the good news about his 3 brothers, all out of prison now and back home with their family. Thanks to his many supporters for their prayers, cards, letters, and books, which keeps him busy on weekends. His appreciation to JC and Liz for all that they have done and continue to do for him, and to his attorney Joseph for becoming his attorney and believing in his innocence, working nonstop to get him, hopefully, a fair, impartial trial. The past 5.5 years have been stressful, but Derek and I give each other the strength to keep going. I believe in my son, and will never give up until he walks out of prison a free man, hopefully in my lifetime. If anyone needs Derek's fund information or his address at the prison, just see me after. As Liz mentioned, we have bracelets and cards made with the website. I greatly appreciate all your donations, prayers, messages I receive on Facebook. And to my son, one last thought, and I tell him this all the time: there is no stronger bond or love than a mother's love. Thank you, everyone.
Carolyn, thank you. I know they took the drive to be here tonight, and it's gosh, just heartbreaking every single time. And Carolyn has just been amazing and so strong through all of this as we work to try to continue to bring attention to Derek's plight. And you talk about lawfare in this state. This case certainly encapsulates that. We have been, they tried to silence us within the last year with a lawsuit that was brought against Alpha News and myself for the book, They're Lying, and also for the documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis. But little by little, I think that we're seeing each and every day how there is hope and how the truth is winning. Just in that lawsuit, it was brought against us by a law firm, very good friends of Ilhan Omar and Keith Ellison, the owner of that law firm. They do not like Alpha News. I know you guys may be surprised by that revelation. And honestly, if we would have lost that, it very well could have been the end of us at Alpha News. We are just a very small little team over there. But we won. Not only did we win as far as the case was dismissed, the judge ruled that everything in the documentary and book was substantially true, and the person that dropped that lawsuit, Katie Blackwell, the number 2 in charge of the Minneapolis Police Department, was forced to pay our legal bills. Our attorney is a little bit too nice, Chris Maddle. He gave her a break on the bill, but that was up to him to do. But again, we have to go ahead and continue these conversations and keep up this fight, because that's what they want. They want us to be silent and go away, and we're simply not going to. Now, I know the real reason you're here tonight is you saw Dr. Shea's bio in the email that was sent to you, which sounds just actually made up because it's about 3 pages long. Actually, that was a mistake. I'm not sure how that... Not that it's a mistake, it's not a made-up biography. But it was very impressive. I can definitely say that. But Dr. Shea is a media strategist and also speaks a bunch of languages. Very smart guy, we'll just say, and blessed to call him a friend as well. So we're going to hear now from Dr. J.C. Shea. And he's going to bring us an update, and then we'll go ahead and hear from Derek's new attorney, Gregory Joseph. So let's welcome Dr. Shea, not a Minnesotan. I'm going to give him a camo scarf for the next time that he's here.
Yes, in fact, I am Liz Collins' stunt double. I wear a lot of cheetah print, not willingly, but you got to do what you got to do, right? In our invocation, we heard something about the relentless threats and attacks, right, on our freedoms, on our constitutional rights. There's one that's very important, and it should matter to every single person, doesn't matter who you vote for. The Sixth Amendment, right to a fair and impartial trial. Those two words. And when you think about this case, and I can make some jokes about it, we have someone who's in front of the camera all the time who wants to write a book. And then you have someone who writes books, who's an academic, who says, I think this really should be a documentary. So yes, we did meet in some strange circumstances. But what we do share is something that we kind of call give a darn, or other words on the end, you can imagine, for good reason. When you think about the Constitution and the fact that we should all have a fair and impartial trial, I don't know if you're offended when you think about what happened to those 4 officers. I was more than offended. And as an ex-cop, when I saw what happened in the viral video that we all saw, a good friend of mine, the one who brought Liz and I together, he and I said, he's from Oklahoma. He's like, hey, man, that's not, no, Nick. I mean, I don't know what to, he went into conniption, what I call Southern American conniption. Couldn't even find the words. And I just said, I know. We got to do something about this. Did I know that it was going to take 5 years? No. Did I know that he needed to be the victim of a $10 million defamation suit just to say the truth? No. But I sat there and watched that happen. Did I know that I was going to be a co-defendant in the same lawsuit with Liz for being the writer and the director of The Fall of Minneapolis and the editor of her book? I did not. But one thing we also want to do is, if you get into this, fellow veterans and law enforcement, you don't leave a brother or sister or anyone else who wears the badge or serves behind. You do not.
That's right.
And that comes from when you make that vow or pledge to service. In the department I served, at the end of your swearing in, you had to say this: with my life, if need be. I took that quite seriously, especially since my daughter is here as well. Dragged her along. That kind of matters. But when you say, I'm going to make that commitment for someone else, I would sacrifice my own life for somebody else so they have the freedoms. When you see a case like this come along and you have people who are supposed to be leaders fabricate an injustice on all of us. And why do I say all of us? Because that constitutional amendment applies to every single person, no matter who you vote for at the end of the day. That got trounced upon. Now, if you pardon me for a second, I don't mean to go into media studies and all that other academic stuff here, but when you have a chief of a police department immediately say, we saw a murder. We saw, and I love this part, a white officer kill a black man in the street. What happened to those other 3 officers? Where did they go? Oh, they're inconvenient for this for this narrative. Please don't pay any attention to them. Why not? You have Alex King. If we're going to play that game that the media liked to play back in that time, sorry if I bring you back 5 years, who is black, working with Derek's partner, Tutal, who is Hmong American, this should start to sound like some BS here when you're trying to talk about the racism stuff, right? Yeah. And then you have Thomas Lane, third shift as a police officer, trying to do the right thing. But all of a sudden, for some reason, one of those officers gets singled out as a racist. Why? Why did that go viral? Because you had one bystander, and this is the funny part, and this is where the fabrication comes in. And I don't mean funny in a ha-ha-ha way or mini ha-ha way, as I like to say it from afar, but you end up with him saying on this viral video that we all saw from one perspective, who says, "Look at you, reaching for your mace." He's talking about Officer Derek Chauvin. "Looking like you're scared of minorities." Wait a minute. This bystander is saying that to Tal, Hmong American, Derek Chauvin's partner for several years. I think we have a problem with this narrative. Don't take my word for it. These are just facts. Something's wrong. What's even worse about that being wrong and problematic in fiction and propaganda, Derek is working alongside Alex King, the black officer who actually, if we're going to play the numbers game, we all heard about what, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, 9 minutes and 23 seconds, all that other nonsense, whatever. We did not hear about the 36 seconds that went on from the time they took George Floyd out of the vehicle and called for an ambulance. That sounds like the strangest murder ever. What did that do? That threw the whole story about murder with intent out the window. Disappears. But anyway, back to that little racism part. Let's see. Bystander talking to a Hmong American, talking about a white officer whose partner is there with him, the Hmong American, working next to a black officer and another white officer. But this is racism, folks. You're supposed to believe that. And guess what the worst part about it is? We did. We let it happen. Carolyn is unfortunately here with us in the room telling us about that. Greg Joseph, Derek's attorney, is also here to give us some insights on that. And the worst part about it is, for about the last 5 years, people thought Liz and I were crazy. And I have to sit here sometimes and say, hey, you know, one of the most courageous voices through all of this, who stood up to tell the truth and tell everyone else in the media, hey, you're lying. Got all these inconvenient things I was just talking about. So Liz Collin.
Yep.
And when something like that happens, and this is the part where I am maybe proof that I'm crazy or a good stunt double, when folks start to realize, okay, they watched the fall of Minneapolis, when we started doing this, we had to accept the fact that we are about to make a documentary nobody's gonna like. End of story. Why is that? Because we're gonna have some people say and come up out of the woodwork and, well, I knew this all along, so, you know, nothing new here. Okay, we're not winning. But anyway, glad we're now doing that, right? And then we're having folks who say, no, this is all propaganda. Okay, we've been there, we went through that. We went through the lawsuit, even from Katie Blackwell. I had to sit at my kitchen table when that first happened and sit here and say, wait a second, she's flat out lying. I mean, I spent a good, at that time, 3-4 years researching all of this stuff, right? Helping her put her book together, helping her make the documentary film. So kind of knew a little bit about it. So we're getting sued for someone saying that we're lying about her actual lying. We've had in some pretty strange circumstances, and we still continue to work together at Alpha News under some pretty strange circumstances, right? So, but don't take my word for it. Go back and look at those facts. And where are we right now? Luckily, we have 3 of the 4 officers finally out. Does that make any of this right?
No.
Absolutely not. Sorry, I don't mean to repeat myself. Let me go back for a second. I started all this off by saying what? We have the 6th Amendment, don't we? That was violated. That was trounced upon. I don't even have words of kindness to say about what had happened, what the media has done, what our so-called elected officials did. And all of us in this room collectively have some pretty tremendous power that we need to use. The whole part about getting your friends, making some phone calls, give some people a ride, get out to vote, that's where all that stuff matters a lot. But the one thing I never saw coming at all, did we kind of pat ourselves on the back when the fall of Minneapolis actually was still on YouTube after an hour? I was trying to find dance steps for some rain dance. I don't know, I was doing something to celebrate in a different way, like we made it. I knew if we get past that first hour, if it stays there, then we might have a chance of influencing about 315 people. And I was going to claim victory. And then 9 days later, I hear that Derek was stabbed 22 times. Not only did I make something, or help Liz put together something that we had hoped to change some minds, that was a pretty tough moment. I like to think of myself as a pretty tough guy. Don't let the pocket square or the neck scarf fool you. That was a tough moment. Now, whether or not that was the direct cause, it's all debatable, but that's a pretty tough coincidence. A lot of people didn't like what Liz Collin had to say and what she put in the film about all this stuff. That was tough. That hasn't changed. I can tell you this, going to prison is tough, just on its face. If you go there as a former police officer, not only do you not have a back or anything to put your back up against, everyone's out to get you. The COs aren't your friends. Other inmates aren't your friends, that's for sure. And yet we still have one left behind. So never mind the injustice that has happened to 3 officers, and I'm so glad that Tu Tao has been released. And I'm glad that he's going to take part in some of the stuff that Liz is putting together this Saturday. But we still have some work to do. If you look at the facts, and you don't need to spend 5 years working on something, if you look at the facts in this case, here's one thing that's undeniable. That was not a fair and impartial trial.
That's right. No way. No way. No way.
At all. And that needs to be corrected. And to help do that, someone who has also made some pretty tremendous sacrifices. And I'm glad to, I don't know if he wants to admit this or not, become friends from afar. I've been talking with Attorney Greg Joseph for about a good year and a half now, something like that. We both know the body cam video quite well. Well, perhaps too well. We can do the different lines from it and other things. Way too much. We have references like, dude, 1319, Thomas Lane's body cam. These are references, they're significant. Anyway, he's also made some pretty tremendous sacrifices to do the work for Derek, to help us right that injustice, the one that's still going on, the one that has still left a brother behind in a situation. I'd like to think I have a good imagination. I can't even imagine what Derek is going through from one minute to the next. I spent a good summer, like Carolyn said, he gets a 15-minute phone call. He spent a bunch of those speaking with me about his case and what had happened. And that was in pretty much the entire summer, speaking with him, getting to know the ins and outs of the case. And I also did that with Tu Tao for a bit, and helping Liz research all of this. If we just look at the facts, and if we all just do what we were talking about before, stand up and not let things happen and vote, we might make a difference. But one of those people who's made tremendous sacrifice, and even, I don't know, didn't I lend you some money, Greg, to get a cord of wood for the cabin or something like that? I mean, we're talking sacrifice on the family level here for the work he's doing. If you talk about Chris Maddle's discount and being fair and kind to Katie Blackwell, Greg's doing the same kind of thing there. And we should appreciate the work he's doing. So for him to give you an update about where things are headed, I'd like to call him up and have him speak about that. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the past history, and if you know, just try to say, hey, open your mind and let people understand these are facts. And see for yourself. That's all that Liz was trying to do with her film and her book. Here are the facts, judge for yourself, and let's maybe try to do the work to get the last person home who shouldn't be left behind.
That's right.
And with that, I'd like to introduce Attorney Greg Joseph.
Wow. Awesome support. What an amazing turnout. Thanks to everybody for coming. Thanks, sorry. First of all, Carolyn, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for driving up. Very nice to see you again. Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much. You're woven throughout the fabric of so many things, and you've helped more than you know in this case in ways that you don't know. So thank you for what you do. JC and Liz, thank you so much for telling the truth, for being persistent, for not giving up, and for being an inspiration for us. It's truly special. My name's Greg Joseph. I'm the attorney who represented KT Jacobs from this neck of the woods against the city of Columbia Heights in their witch hunt against her, if you remember that.
Yes. Yep.
And I've had the great pleasure of suing the cities of St. Paul and Bloomington in cases that reached the Minnesota Supreme Court, both involved representing voters who stood up against government. I've done work with the Minnesota Voters Alliance in challenging voting legislation in the Upper Midwest Law Center with Doug Seaton, who's doing great work, and the great James Dickey, who's since moved on, dear friend. I've been dealing with government abuse, litigation, in one form or another for about 10 years now, and it chose me. I didn't choose it. I was living in Bloomington with my wife at the time, and we got a flyer in the mailbox about trash hauling. It said, hey, we're going to take over your garbage collection. And I saw a couple familiar faces tonight who know exactly what I'm talking about. So I went to a city council meeting, and I met a ragtag bunch of people who are just like the people in this room tonight. And that means they're just like me. And I found out that there's a way we can change the law if we collect signatures on a petition. So that sounded inspiring. So I ended up joining the club. We worked very hard and collected a lot of signatures, enough to get the question in front of the voters. Let people choose if they wanted their government to take their trash hauling. We gave the petition to the city of Bloomington. The city of Bloomington said, nah, that's all right, we'll pass. They gave us a few reasons, but it was pretext, and we knew it. So push came to shove, and the group needed a lawyer. And I said, I'm not your guy. I don't know anything about this. I'm a criminal defense guy, I do DUIs. I don't know anything about city litigation. Well, yeah, we took the case and learned a lot about what cities can do to people and what government can do to people. The bottom line is I don't like bullies very much. And there's no greater bully than government.
Yeah, right. That's right.
But that's not why you came here. I have the great honor and privilege to stand up for justice and truth in the name of Derek Michael Chauvin. Now, in a former life, before I flipped to the dark side and became a defense attorney, I was a prosecutor. And someone I worked with said something to me once. They said, you know, Greg, any prosecutor can put a guilty man behind bars. but it takes real talent to put an innocent man behind bars. That person didn't smile when they said that. I chalked it up to a bad joke and kind of moved on, and then I saw what they did to Derek. So, the first thing you have to understand about lawfare, okay, is that it's fundamentally incompatible with our system of justice, okay? I used to think lawfare was about burying your opponent in paperwork or draining their money supply or something like that. But that's not what it is, okay? Those are symptoms of lawfare, but that's not the disease. You have to go deeper than that. This is a fundamental conflict with our system of justice. Think about the presumption of innocence, okay? Something we take for granted every day. We don't think about it. Of course we're presumed innocent until proven guilty, okay? What if that was backwards? What if you're presumed guilty until proven innocent? But it's worse than that. Because who decides what the crime is? You don't. You don't speak through your elected officials to make that choice. Someone else makes that choice for you. And the old phrase that I can't stand, okay, but the old phrase that says, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, you've got nothing to worry about, right? Well, that kind of goes out the window, doesn't it, if you don't know if you did anything wrong or not, right? How about the right to a fair trial? Under our system, under the American criminal justice system, we have fair trials. And if we don't have a fair trial, we don't have a trial. Because we don't do show trials here in this country, okay? It's not the way it works. But lawfare means show trials. Lawfare means narratives. Lawfare means somebody else making the rules and you keeping your mouth shut. We are not going to keep our mouth shut. Derek was charged with 3 crimes. He was charged with second-degree murder, with a third-degree assault as a predicate offense. What that means is, during the commission of a third-degree assault, death is the result of that act. He was charged with second-degree manslaughter and third-degree murder as well. We now know the third-degree murder charge is going to disappear based on the Mohammed Noor case. That no longer applies. The second-degree manslaughter charge is a negligent homicide charge. He was charged with all 3. So none of this made sense from the beginning, and Dr. Shea mentioned a couple of these things, but, you know, pretty unusual circumstances to kill somebody, don't you think? I mean, it's right outside, and you got a crowd full of people there. You got cameras rolling and cell phones, middle of the street, and your accomplices, the folks you're working with, they don't act like anything's wrong at all. In fact, it almost seems coordinated, almost like they're cooperating. None of this made sense. It was plainly bogus from the beginning. But it's so much deeper than you can possibly imagine what's happened here. But when Derek was convicted, everybody got cheated. Even those who believe he was guilty got cheated. Because the ends don't justify the means here. That's not how this works. And if it was Derek today, it could be anybody tomorrow. Don't forget that. Now they've got a machine, okay? The machine's very powerful. But we have the truth. I'll be filing an motion in the next 2 weeks asking for a new trial on several grounds. And I would love to share those grounds with you right now, but I can't do that because I don't want to tip my hand, okay? It's taken a very long time to review this record. It's immense, and it's not just Derek's case, but it's also the record in his accomplices' cases. Tutau, and Alex King and Tom Lane. But I will tell you this. We have exceptional arguments to make. And they are over the heart of this case. So I think about it, I told JC this, it's probably a dumb analogy, but it seems to fit, at least for now. I think of it like meat and potatoes and parsley. Okay? Parsley's good. A little bit of parsley's good. Helps wake up your food a little bit. Too much parsley, no good, right? Well, this case has a lot of parsley, okay? This case has got a pile of parsley about this high. And you got to figure out how much of the parsley to clear off there, okay? Some of them are big pieces, some of them are small. Some of them are dates that don't make sense. Some of them are documents that don't get disclosed for months. Some of them are just dots you can't quite connect. Some of them are conversations that don't get disclosed to anybody, okay? And when you figure out that the truth isn't being told, you have to start looking for things like who knew what at what time, and who did they tell, and what other people were in the room with those people. Those are things you don't have to look for in a normal criminal case. But this one has got all kinds of parsley on it. But we've got a lot of meat. And the arguments that we're prepared to move forward with strike directly at the heart of this case. Directly at the heart. Now, the bad news is that we do have some pretty major procedural hurdles we have to get past. The stage we're at now, we obviously had the trial. We had a direct appeal that wrapped up quite some time ago. And there's a rule that's called NAFLA, this case. Okay, it's codified in the statutes as well, but the rule says that if you brought an issue before, we're not allowed to bring it now. So we can't re-argue anything we already argued. Okay. And if there's an issue that could have been brought at that time because it was known, we're also barred from arguing that, which makes it pretty tough. Okay? There are two exceptions to that rule, and what I'm trying to do is drive a truck through those two exceptions. I'm trying to present a case to the court that they cannot ignore because the interests of justice demand that they take this case, which is exactly what should happen. Okay? Somehow, right now in this state, we have two orders. We have one order that put Derek Chauvin in prison. We have another order that says a key state witness lied to put him. Somehow the court has to resolve these two orders. I can't say much more about the arguments tonight, but I will tell you this. I love these arguments. And as I said, they're right over the heart of the case. And I can't wait to bring them in front of the court. And I can't wait to share them with you. And I know that JC and Liz are going to do exactly that when the time comes. I'll be talking to Derek tomorrow morning. And I'm going to share with him every face in this room and every thought that was shared by all of you and all the love that you have for him and all the support that you show for him. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for supporting the family, for supporting Derek, for standing up for freedom and our system of justice, for truth. We have lots of reason for hope and optimism. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Pretty incredible. We will take questions for any of them. They're all here. You're a stunt double as well. You could be mine too. There we go. But I could come out there with a microphone and we can ask them any question you'd like.
Hi, so you're going to be putting the motion forward in about 2 weeks, you said?
Right, correct.
And that's a motion for a new trial?
Right, yep, it's called, yeah, oh, sorry.
So I was just curious what the next steps would be, like how long will it take them to make a decision, and then how long would it take if they granted your motion, then how long would it take for the new trial to happen?
I would expect to hear something fairly quickly on the motion. They usually turn them around pretty quickly. I'd expect a response from the state within 3 weeks or so. Then it'll be on the judge's desk. I'll have a reply on the other side of that. It'll be up to the court what he does. Ideally, he'll grant the motion, we'll get a new trial, okay? Barring that, we're hoping to get an evidentiary hearing to address some of the issues I'll be presenting in the petition here. If that happens, it's kind of going to be up to the court as to when that gets set. Of course, there's always the possibility the judge says no and throws it out. And if that happens, obviously, next step will be Court of Appeals. So to answer your question a little bit more directly, time frame's a little bit tough for me to guesstimate. It's kind of up to the court what they do.
Well, I'm just wondering if you're planning in the future some other documentary or book that will wrap this all up.
Wrap this
as
all
it
up.
goes
I wish,
forward.
when we have a happy ending, we will.
We hope for one, but either way, we would need to get this truth out too.
We are currently working on something coming your way in the next few months. That's a tease. But yes, as far as this case, we need some more good news to report, and that's what we're going to keep hoping and praying for. And you can continue to stay updated on Alpha News. If you saw, Mr. Joseph here was on the podcast not that long ago, explaining a bit about Derek's case and bringing an update. So, we'll continue to be talking to him as well. So.
I believe we had a question over there.
Does your motion go to the court that originally handed down the judgment?
It does.
Ouch.
It is a different judge. We will have a different judge.
That's a good step in the right direction.
It'll be back in Hennepin County.
But we want in Hennepin County, just for the record. Yes. You do want it.
You do want it in Hennepin
Yes,
County.
in Hennepin
Okay.
County, yeah. It can be done.
So what is the best way that we can help tonight? How do we join the fight, and what's the best thing we can do to help any position for all three of you?
I do have bracelets and cards with the fund listed. Also, if anyone wants to send money into Derek's commissary, things at the prison are very expensive, so he's always looking for, he won't let me send any money in, which I do, and he tells me don't, but so the fund, that's great, we appreciate that, but also his commissary for personal needs, that sort of thing, but he always says, don't tell people I need commissary money, I'll just make do, and I wanted to say that Derek is very busy Monday through Friday. He does HVAC, and eventually he will get certified to do that. Weekends, he said it's really bad. There's nothing to do. Since he was stabbed, he can't run anymore, which is really bad. And he's still waiting for the person that stabbed him to have to go to court to, correct that situation. But Derek is strong. He said he will not let what was done to him change the person he is. And together we stand strong.
I think something else thank you, Carolyn, to be done is don't be afraid to let our local and honestly even our state and national leaders know about this case. I've been a little disheartened, I'll be honest, even on the Republican side of things, how people will not really touch this. Everybody's running for governor. I don't know if any of you guys are running for governor. Everybody's running for governor now. If anybody has an announcement made tonight, but don't be afraid to put these people on the spot and ask them about this case. We can change things if we get different leadership in Minnesota. There is power in I just think that this is something that is very important, and members of Congress need to hear about it, and local legislators as well. Yes?
I'm just wanting to know, is there any chance that Trump would pardon him? Is there any possibility? Okay, all right. No.
Yeah, so the question was, I'll just repeat it again. Is there anything or any chance or hope for President Trump to issue a pardon for Derek or the other 3 officers? Actually, you should know, this was all originally all one case. They were all co-defendants in the same case. Conveniently, COVID came along and, well, we had to split these up. Divide and conquer? I'll leave that for you to sort out. But to answer your question, ma'am, Derek was convicted both in a federal court and a state court. The long and short of it is, even if with a presidential pardon, he still would not get out because of the state charge. So President Trump, pretty smart guy, I think we would agree, realizes the political risk to everything else he would try to achieve if he were to issue such a pardon. This is me speculating a little bit as a media guy. He might run into some trouble that way. And then what is the end result? We still have Derek Chauvin, the one left behind in prison. Now, would that exert some power and influence? Well, in a logical world that I wish would come back to us, I would love to believe that, well, yes, it would. What do you know? You have the federal government doing something, the state should follow. In this climate, you know it's going to be exact opposite. You can plan on that. You don't need a PhD in strategic media to figure that one out. So, that's kind of where we are, ma'am. I hope that answers your question.
I personally do not want my son to come back to the state of Minnesota, which Keith Ellison wants to get his hands on him. Right. He is the same individual who made the announcement the day my son was stabbed, which is how I found out. I had no clue till someone called me and said, "I'm sorry your son was stabbed." Well, how do you know? Keith Ellison just told everyone in Minnesota. So if he comes back here, he goes back to Oak Park Heights, sequestered by himself, no going outside, no working, nothing. So I don't want that to happen until Joseph somehow gets him to stay where he is now until everything is decided. So just pray for my son. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you get a new trial, would it be here in Minnesota, or can it be in another state away from here?
It'll be in Minnesota.
If he was, you mentioned state and federal courts, he was convicted. So would your appeal here or this new thing only address one of those levels, but the other one would still be there?
Correct. Yep. This is for Minnesota post-conviction relief only. So there's There's a separate federal procedure that's habeas corpus, and this is kind of Minnesota's state version of the federal habeas corpus statute. So yes, it would only apply in Minnesota.
Might not be able to say, but who's your judge?
We have Judge Scoggin is assigned to the case.
Well, first, thank you for everything you guys are doing. My question has to do with how do we keep this from ever happening again? I have police and military people that have asked me regularly, is this going to be the day? Are they going to let him out? They've said, we are all Derek Chauvin. If they can do this to him, they can do it to any one of us. I've had military guys not only say the not leaving a man behind, but also saying they feel like he is in a level of purgatory and that this is their chance to raise him from the dead. They have the chance to redeem him and bring him back to life again. These guys have such hope and such fear at the same time when they're saying, how do we restore law and order to Minnesota? Why would we do anything more than just the bare minimum when this could be any one of us? This could be any one of us next. They tell me that we will not have safety, security, and prosperity in Minnesota until we get the back of the blue again. What's being done so that this never happens again?
That is a phenomenal question, and that's part of the reason why I got roped into all this thing. If I can, real quick, cops love to tell cop stories. Ex-cops are even worse. I'll give you a quick one. Did I have a similar situation like the George Floyd incident? Yes, I did. Okay, middle of the night, someone's running down the street naked, you know that's not going to be good. Second officer responding to that, fight's on. We didn't know that this person's family was looking for him. So after we subdue them, we do all this stuff, we're getting kicked in the head, we're getting beat up by this guy. Large gentleman. He makes Mr. Joseph behind here seem small. Kind of like George Floyd in stature, if you will. So what happens? I go and I put the leg shackles on him. Next thing you know, we have cardiac arrest. I'm the last person to touch this guy. What happens? Similar situation. Instead of going to the west side of town, the ambulance is dispatched all the way over to the east, 17 miles in the opposite direction. Needs to come another 17 miles all the way back over here to where we were. Still fighting with this guy, who now had cardiac arrest, coming in and out of that. Don't want to give you all the gory details, but CPR for 45 minutes is not fun. Covered in vomit, everything else you don't know. We were just fighting with this guy, pepper spray, the whole 9 yards. His family shows up. Fight with them is on. Because we thought, what color is my skin? You can guess the color of the skin of the person we were fighting with. Someone driving by saw me doing CPR. That's not what they told dispatch. Something like, there's a white officer beating up on a black man in the middle of the street. Does this start to sound like an echo? Yeah. So what happens? And I'll get through the cop story here in a second. Family shows up. Brother tackled me. I didn't even have a chance to see what was going on. Just completely blindsided, knocked me over. We're fighting with him. Chaos, complete chaos. We put him in the back of the ambulance alive. Victory. So I thought. Dies on the way to the hospital. So down to the homicide unit I go for my interview. No one told the detectives or the prosecutor that I had a ride-along that day. He was the African American liaison for the White Bear Lake School District. You can guess what color his skin was. And he said, JC is exactly the officer I hope I can be someday. Not gung-ho, proactive, new people. Didn't take any stuff. And I've never seen someone, and he wasn't kidding, this is a good joke, fight to save someone's life. Now, the funny thing, and I do mean this in a little bit of a ha-ha-ha way, and Carolyn, I'm sorry, but these officers are supposed to be murderers, right? Cold blood, grinding someone's neck into the pavement, all that other nonsense. How do we know that Derek is this evil monster? What did he say to George Floyd? He said something like, "You're under arrest, guy." The violence and the assault in that, when Derek Chauvin told George Floyd he's under arrest. Now, you shared some other interesting things about that, but where are we going all this? Back to the question.
Hold the mic up.
Sorry, back to the question here. How do we prevent this from happening again? I was lucky. I had someone talk for me who said, no, that's not what happened. They were kicking the officers in the head. It was the other officer saying, stop kicking me. The family didn't catch that. Luckily, skip ahead, thankfully, I had that ride along, changed the entire direction of that. It wasn't until a lawsuit we were getting deposed that fact came out. That close. It was already being sued. Same kind of stuff, civil rights violations. We have to say, each one of us, and I don't mean to preach, but I'm sorry, this is where this comes down to. You don't write a book like Liz Collin, you don't make a documentary film like Liz Collin, you don't actually show up at a Republican meeting and tell the Republicans they need to do a little bit more work to not let this happen again, and then you get the question like that. But it is on each and every one of us to say that is a bunch of nonsense. That won't stand. You want to cross the line between reality and fact and come up with this nonsense and tell me I saw a racist murder when someone was arrested on so many drugs you can't even list them on the same piece of paper?
Right.
And I'm sorry, the first words on the autopsy say what? Cardiopulmonary arrest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Heart attack.
That's right. And then they change it.
So to answer your question, ma'am, and I do say this very much with a heavy heart, we've had to talk about this a lot. Sorry, we had to say this a lot. We have to not let people cross that line. And it might not be in a way you can all do it. Obviously, I went all in on this. How much money did I make for this documentary with Liz? I refuse to take a penny. I will never take a penny for that. You don't leave someone behind. End of story. That was my way of saying, this is not going to stand. I studied a whole bunch of stuff about media and whatever, got a doctorate in it, and hey, I can give back. I can make sure this doesn't happen again. For some of you, it might be something so simple just to say, if you have law enforcement in your family, just give them a pat on the back and say, hey, I understand what you're dealing with. It might be something so simple like when Liz Collin asked Alex King, do you blame Derek Chauvin for what happened to you? Mind you, this is Alex King, black officer, working right next to Derek, doing the same thing, trying to effect an arrest. As a so-called racist police officer, Liz Collin asked him point blank, do you blame Derek? I don't think there was a second in between his response when he said, no, I don't. He was doing what he was trained to do. So it might be a pat on the back. It might be a hug. It might be when you hear someone say the wrong thing about this, to just stop them for a second. And just say something simple if you can. Get your facts straight. I'm not buying the BS. Sorry, strip. Something like that. So I don't mean to give you an oversimplified answer, ma'am, but in some way, each one of us have something we can do to prevent this from happening again. And I think you said the best answer yourself when you asked the question. It starts right there by saying, I don't want this to happen again. How can I do something? We need to figure that out, and even better, when we have a room of this many people show up on a Thursday to hear about this kind of stuff, there's nothing but tremendous power in this room. There really is. And if we all just do one little tiny thing, you tell your loved one who's in law enforcement or a veteran or someone else, you overhear something that doesn't make any sense, even leave a comment. It's okay to be a keyboard warrior. It's perfectly fine. Fight the good fight. If that's where the fight is, go there. I don't live in Minnesota based on information belief. Katie Blackwell thought I did. I don't. Do I care about Minnesota? Yeah, this is the front line. I'm here. I'm in your fight. Why? Our constitutional rights are being violated. Don't matter where the fight is. Doesn't matter. So do a little bit. I'm sorry for preaching. That was a great question.
I will be quite as animated. We really enjoy this. You know how hard it was to get me, I had to try to book JC on my podcast. It took like months. I was like, why is this so hard? It is true. I was going to say, in Minnesota, we actually are seeing it already unravel, and it's a good thing. You have Mary Moriarty not running for re-election again. You also have Minnesota State Trooper Ryan Lonergan. What's interesting about his case, Chris Maddle, his attorney, who took our case as well, happened to watch the fall of Minneapolis after he took Ryan's case and got the idea of getting signed declarations in Ryan's case from the very beginning to say that he followed his training the night of the shooting of Ricky Cobb. And you saw these flurry of documents, of these sworn declarations attached to that case early on. Imagine maybe perhaps the difference that would have made in Derek and the other officers' case in their state trials as well. And again, now you have Trooper Ryan Lonergan back on the streets of Minnesota working to keep us safe as a state trooper as his murder charge is reversed. So again, we just need to keep pushing back and speaking the truth. You want to do like 2 more questions, Mary?
Sure.
And then we are here this evening. Please grab a cup, a bracelet for Derek. You guys, I have to get rid of these Alpha News plastic cups. It's my one job for my boss. So I don't like to give them out on college campuses because I'm afraid kids are drinking out of them. So this is a better one.
Do we have any other question or comment? Thoughts? Go ahead.
How do we keep Derek safe where he is now?
Good question. Derek actually is not safe where he is now. He's on 3rd floor. He sleeps in a room with 38 other men. What? And as you well know, when he was stabbed, it only took one person. And he told me he sleeps with one eye open. And it's not a full 8 hours, 6 hours of sleep. So he is afraid, but he watches where he goes, who he talks to, what he does. And I can tell you when I sat through his trial, talking about Katie Blackwell lying, also Arredondo lied on the witness stand. And I have Derek's training manuals that shows the MRT, but that was never brought up in trial, or the police videos, which it was hard for me to sit still and not open up my mouth and yell at the judge, but I had to remain quiet, otherwise I'd be kicked out of court, which would not have been good. But if I got kicked out, I probably would have kicked Ellison on my way out, which I still want to do, but.
Anyone else? Do you have any last thoughts, or is there a question here?
Here.
Yep.
I'll say something. God's going to use this circumstance for His glory to test and test. Derek will give a testimony.
So this isn't really a question, but I'm asked this a lot from close friends. It's really about educating people about this case. And it's been really hard because I'm Derek's aunt. And seeing the last, over 5 years, just, it's been a nightmare. And, you know, my sister and I stand strong. And Derek is such a wonderful person, and it was really hard to hear all the mean things that were said about Derek. And we saw him recently, and it was very scary where he's at. And what we could do is make him laugh. But the biggest thing I think that people can do is education. And don't be afraid to educate people, because this could happen to anybody. Your uncle, your nephew, your niece even. It can happen to anyone, and we need to stand strong. Because if we don't, what else do we have? What else do we have? So we really need to stand strong and stay together and educate people on this. I see it online all the time, and people just like, free Derek. You know, George Floyd wasn't murdered. So I just thank all of you, really. We couldn't get through this without. I mean, Derek has people from all over the world rooting for him. And we, my sister and I, just thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you still need firewood?
Firewood?
Yeah, do you still need firewood?
For what?
Don't you need cabin firewood?
I'm sorry, I can always use firewood. Sorry. Wasn't the question I anticipated.
You might want to talk to him after. No, thank you so much. And Liz, you do have your book here, and you do have the bracelets here. And I can't thank you, Carolyn, enough for being here and all that you're doing. My gosh, yeah. Give him another round of applause. This is nice. Just a couple quick things. We do have Josh Jungling here, the House Rep candidate for 35A. Did you want to say just a couple things to us, or just very brief? All right. They all need your help starting now. Yeah.
So my name is Josh Jungling. I'm running for state rep. Well, I'm not running for governor. I'm running for state representative in 35A, which is all of Anoka. We're in right now in Western Coon Rapids. And just to kind of tie into what we've talked about tonight, we're tired of seeing the violent criminals are the ones that are going free. Right. We continue to arrest them, they let them go, and we're surprised that they're doing it again. Those kind of things have to stop. And the current people that we have in place aren't doing that. We're seeing a $18 billion surplus turn into a $6 billion deficit. They're not spending our money wisely. And we're seeing our schools, we're seeing our kids and children not be ready for the real world. In Anoka-Hennepin right now, we have 50% of our kids in Anoka-Hennepin do not read at their current grade level. Math and science are down double digits. So we need to make a change, and we need to stand with our police officers. So that is why I'm running. I ran in 2024, and we were very, very close. I went against a very entrenched incumbent. We are going to take him out this time. And so I appreciate you guys letting me talk. I won't take up any more of your time, but Josh Jungling, State Representative, 35A, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks for running again. Next month, our meeting is December 4th, so bring your family, friends, and neighbors. We will have the Upper Midwest Law Center. They always come and speak with us once a year. They've had a number of great wins, and there's a number of very interesting cases with people you all know involved in it. So make sure you just come on back on December 4th. Thank you. Good night.